So I'm going to try to do this story time. First off, let me start off by saying I've never been a jealous-hearted woman. I've always been the type of woman that wanted to help, be a good friend, support whatever the situation would be about. I've never been the type of person that was a gatekeeper that will hold information back from others so that they may thrive or succeed in life. If anything, I've always been the type of person that if you needed something, I would try my best, my damnedest to get the information. If I had to pick you up, whatever the situation may be, that's what I did. All right. So I want to say this was back in 2014. Yeah, I want to say 2014. Okay, yeah, 2013, 2014, one of them. I met this individual at the grocery store. I used to work overnights, and I would get off in the morning. Then I would head to the grocery store, do my shopping, and then I met this young lady. I'm gonna call her Sherry. Sherry used to do stocking at Kroger's. Okay, cool. So Sherry was like, he was doing income tax season. She was like, oh, I know somebody that do income tax. She's really, really good. And I'm like, okay, well, give me her information. Where's she at? And she gave me the information. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I get the information, and then I go see the person that did my taxes. I went to go see her. I want to say 2013, so she did my taxes for 2013, 2014. Yeah, she did for 2013, 14, right? All right, so at the time I had a Charger. So I was very like into, they would have like, they would ride through the city and have car clubs with different type of like Chargers, Chevys, whatever. But I was just really intrigued with this car club that they would feed the homeless. They would have car washes to do fundraisers. And I'm like, this is so cool. So at the time, Sherry that worked at Kroger's was like, I have a yellow Charger. I'm like, well, you should come join and we could do this. We're going to ride on the weekends or whatever. So I had went to the tax preparer for her to go ahead and, do my taxes for 13 and 14. All right, so 2014, I asked, I would, get off of work, still going to the grocery store, but I would never see Sherry's yellow Charger in the parking lot. So I'm like, she worked overnight. Like, why her car is never out? So what I asked was the tax preparer. I said, I asked Sherry, did she want to come join the car club or whatever? Because, I like what they're doing. And she said that she was, interested in doing just exactly was that I was doing. So, you know how when you tell a story, that story gets told to this person, that person, this person the wrong way. All right, so the tax preparer feeling some type of way. Again, never in life have I ever been jealous of a female, felt any type of way about how a female looked, what she had, what type of relationship, any of that. I could care less. I don't be competing and comparing. I don't be contrasting. I don't be adding up, multiplying, and subtracting. I don't be doing it. I just be trying to live my life. Trying to work hard, take care of my son, whatever it is that I was doing, and trying to, just get out and travel and see the world, right? And I wanted the same thing that I wanted for myself. I wanted for my so-called friends to have the same thing, because I'm not going to be working hard and you work less and you play harder than you play, when it comes to go out and doing stuff. You don't never have any money. I don't work hard now. The ant and the grasshopper story. You know that, right? So, of course, the story gets changed or whatever the situation may be. I pick up on energy very much. A lot of people didn't know that and probably still don't know that. I pick up on energy. I pick up on passive aggressiveness. I pick up on being slighted with somebody. I pick up on all of that bullying. I pick up on all of that. But see, the difference was back then, I just wasn't too much confrontational with it. So I just let things slide, because I'm not going to be raising my blood pressure about, he said, she said, or whatever the situation may be. All right. So the story get changed or whatever. So when I go back into the store to do grocery shopping, of course, Sherry's like, and it automatically clicks like, duh. the tax preparer went back and said something to Sherry, but of course she flipped the story because Sherry, just because of her vibe, right? So the tax preparer, right then and there, something told me to watch her, watch her, watch her, watch her. And guys, if my face get out of angle of the camera, whatever, you know, I can't see. I can't see. I can't do nothing about that. But okay, back to the story. So the tax preparer, of course, went back and said something to Sherry that I probably didn't say or hadn't said, or said it in a nasty way, you know, to have people turn on me because she felt some type of way about moi. All right, speed up the things. 2015, I filed my taxes again with the tax preparer, right? So I want to say April, I took my son down to Myrtle Beach, and I was like, I wanted a home. I wanted to get approval for a home. So I was pre-approved for my home when I went down to Myrtle Beach. And it was just like, oh my gosh, more blessings. Like, yeah. So we down in Myrtle Beach, we come back or whatever. So I'm like, okay, start looking for a house. And it was like, okay, I need this, a lot of stuff that you need when you are getting approved for a home. So I was like, hey, I need my tax papers. So I called the tax preparer like, hey, I need my tax papers. You know, can you meet me at your office so that I can get them? So she's like, yeah, we met up. I got my tax papers, and I had my house built. So it took like 3 months to have my house built. So by October, I want to say I started summertime. So by October, 3 or 4 months, I had my house built. So the tax preparer texted me like, hey, did you ever find a house? I was like, yeah. So I took a picture of my house, sent it to her along with the subdivision name, right? Okay. Didn't think nothing of whatever. So when it comes time to file my taxes for 2016, I go and she's like, wait a minute. So I had to change my address on my driver's license, of course. She's like, wait a minute. Where do you live at? You know, I had forgot about the text message that I sent previously in October. So she was like, where you live at? I was like, and I said the name of the subdivision. And she was like, oh my God, I live out there too. I'm like, what? Like, oh my God, we neighbors. Yeah, we neighbors. Or whatever. So I said, when do you move out there? She was like, in December. I said, well, what color is your house? Because we had like the color of the shutters is the same color as the door. So she was like, what? I said, what color is it? She was like, I don't know. Like, how you not know what color you're? Okay. Whatever. All right. So 2015, we started like, okay, she's my neighbor, whatever. Like, hey, bye. Whatever the situation may be. 2016, it was the same thing. You know, okay, 2016, it was it wasn't really like a relationship type thing, but you know, she would call, we'll talk, or whatever the situation may be. 2017, I filed my taxes. That's when I started having complications with losing my eyesight. So let me tell you, after filed the taxes or whatever, at the end, I think it was August when the movie Girls Trip came out. So we was like, let's all go see the movie. So I ended up purchasing 4 tickets, one for that best friend, one for another friend, and one for the tax preparer so-called friend, right? So the friend who that wasn't the best friend, she couldn't come because it was her birthday. So it was like really her birthday dinner. I took her out to eat or whatever. So we all out to eat. And so me, being the type of person that I am, the tax preparer, you know, she stayed across the street. She picked me and the best friend up and was like, okay, she was going to drive. So she drove us there, whatever. So we're sitting there eating, and the tax preparer ordering all these drinks, alcoholic beverages. I don't drink, you know, not even occasionally. I don't drink. So she's ordering all these drinks. So she says, I usually split the bill. Ain't nobody finna split no bill with you. You already done drunk up about $100 tab. Like, I said, what I do is I'll pay, you know, because I was paying for the best friend, the so-called friend. Then I was like, well, I'll pay for your food too, so-called friend. So she was like, okay. So she paid for her alcohol. when we get to the moves, I'm like, you need to send me my money for your ticket. And because she ended up asking her friend, who she talk about like a dog all the time, because she's so jealous hearted of women, period. Them insecure, low vibrational, toxic ones, them type, right? So we end up getting there. I'm like, yeah, you need to send me my money back for my tickets. All right, send the money. All right, so this is 2017. All right, so I had the surgery in November 2017 to try to reattach my retina. Of course, it didn't help. So by 2018, I could hardly even see. My vision was like, I was completely blind in the left eye, and then my right eye was like 20/200. So I was like legally blind. But anyhow, 2018, filed my taxes with her again. 2019, 2018, I worked for 1 month. That's when I stopped working completely. So I filed my tax. I worked for 1 month in 2018. So 2019, I filed my taxes with her again. Mind you, I should have known, simply because she moved across the street and tried to make it seem like she didn't know that I had moved out here. All right. Mind you, I forgot to tell you, when I left her office, when she was like, when in 2016, she was like, I didn't know you moved out there. I went all the way back to my messages. I'm like, how the hell she not know? And I sent her the text message, you know, with the name of the subdivision. And she moved out here in December, and I moved in October. My house was the first house built on my street. So, yeah. All right, 2019. She says, well, the IRS is going to take such and such out your taxes and and you're going to pay back the IRS this much or whatever the situation may be. I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, the IRS is going to take $300 out your taxes. I'm like, okay. Everybody knows when you owe the IRS and you go on the website, once your taxes are accepted, if you owe them, they're going to tell you how much you owe. Then they will deduct it from the amount and then distribute the rest. She never knew that I worked for an accountant, and she never knew the position that I held at the time. I used to print out payroll checks. All right. So 2019, I said, hey, the taxes went through or whatever. She would never take out her fee if it was direct deposited to my account. What I would do is just, yeah, she would take it out. But if she gave me a paper check, then I would have to cash the check and then give her the amount. She stops my direct deposit so she could print out a check, steal $300. Then, remember, I have to get the check and then go cash the check and give her her fee. Prior to this, I asked, what is your fee? She was like, just the $300. But if you needed $600, if you wanted $600, I would have given you $600. I am not a money hungry type of person. I'm not trifling like that. If you want $600, I'm going to give you the $600. But no, she want to be so smart. She want to feel some type of way. You know, she want to do something because she's so spiteful and jealous. So she stole $300. Then I ended up giving her $300. But at the time, I asked my son, I said, look at the check. Did it come with a stub? Every time you print out any check, it comes with a stub to show the deductions that was taken out, and it has a serial number for your receipt that matches the check. Yeah, that she that type of smart thief, but you only label as a thief because you weren't good at what you do, basically. So, all right, that happened. I got to the point, it was 2019, I started my voc rehab because I was losing my eyesight. So now I had to learn how to walk with the cane, which I'm going to start showing you all videos with that. Then I had to learn how to cook. I'm going to show you videos that, yes, I still cook while being completely blind. Then I had to do VR with the technology part. So I'm going to show you those things too. All right. So I just had enough by the end of all that fakeness, by, you know, riding by, hey, yeah. Yeah, all that, yeah. I just told my son I just tired. So I confronted her. She was like, well, what's the problem? I said, You act like I don't know that you took three. I didn't take, if I took anything, I'm like, even after that, but then she give me a blank excuse. Well, if you feel like I did anything, I apologize. No, who apologized for something that they didn't do? Thief. So I was like, yeah. After that, I was like, all right, I just surrendered it to God. I was like, I don't want to deal. Yeah, I was just completely done. All right, I didn't want to no longer tell, like, God just started removing people out of my life for whatever reason it may be, right? All right, 2020 goes by. I don't say nothing to her. 21 goes by. 22 goes by. 2023. God said, shh. I was just sitting in my room and I could hear, it was springtime, summertime, June. I could hear somebody outside talking. I'm going to tell you stories about my neighbors next door to me. That's a whole nother story, right? So God was like, go to the bathroom. So I have a window in my bathroom. I have 2 windows in my bathroom. And it just so happened to be up. I was like, okay. So I was just standing there or whatever. So I hear her talking to my next door neighbor, the so-called husband. Hey, neighbor, anything been going on? They out there talking about me, right? Or trying to talk about me, right? All right. Oh, yeah. Well, let's revert and go back. The beginning of June, my son and I was sitting in the house, and I heard somebody like at 5 in the morning saying, God, police. God, just cussing it to the top of her lungs. God, fucking police. Call them now. So I was like, who is that? I can't see, so I don't know. And my son wasn't here at the time. All right, we're going to say that was a Monday. All right, that Wednesday. God, the police. God, the police. I'm like, what? Who is that outside? I kept trying to pick up on the voice, but I couldn't pick up on the voice. So that Thursday, here go again. But this time, I could hear her talking to her son. And she was like, you had some fucking body in my house. I seen a nail up under my bed. You had somebody in my house. And then I hear the police outside. You already know, when the police start asking you questions, who's the president? What day is it? Do you know where you're at? Do you know your birthday? You already know what time it is. So the son was like, you need to go to the hospital. She's like, I don't want to go to no hospital. What I need to go to the hospital for? Needless to say, she went to the hospital, right? So Southern Regional handles patients with mental disabilities or whatever the situation may be. Psychosis, those with psychosis, whatever. All right. That was the first week in June. The second week in June, I hear the police out there talking to her again, asking them same questions. So the police said, well, we're going to have to take you to the hospital. I'm not going to no hospital. I just left the hospital. I'm going to tell you what I had on. I had on a blue and white striped dress, some lime green socks, a sheet, and no shoes. Yeah, that type of, yes, left to right, front to back. Yeah, okay. All right. So she didn't go to the hospital. So this is all in June, right? The third week in June is when her and the neighbor next door met out up in the streets to talk about me. You haven't heard anything been going on? So the male neighbor was like, no, I haven't heard anything. Nothing been going on but them 2 episodes that you had. Episodes. I didn't have episodes. Then I heard her ask the male neighbor, so what's up? You trying to, what? She propositioning that married man. I was like, oh my God. I was like, do you hear this? Do you hear this? Wow, they're on camera. So I have camera like Fort Knox room. I mean, how you knew she had episodes and you married and you gonna mess with somebody across the street knowing that she can flip at any time and tell your wife what you doing? I was like, people these days are just, they blow my mind. So she was like, absolutely not. Hey, can't give it away. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ugh. Yeah, that type of crazy, right? So she got mad, and I guess she walked away, right? All right, that's the third week. The next day in June, the male neighbor was walking his dog. I could hear her outside talking about, I told you about walking your dog over here. And he was like, go ahead on, lady, go ahead on, lady. So they out there going back and forth. So then she was trying to get in her garage door, but something was wrong with it, right? All right. So I hear him outside say, I think she bipolar. I don't know what's going on with her, whatever. So after that was Thursday. The next day, I hear her outside screaming to the top of her lungs, stop with my garage door. Like, I'm finna walk over there. Them demons, baby. Do you hear what I say? Them demons. And I know she was possessed simply because you gotta be careful who you steal from. Everybody ain't everybody. People have legions of demons on their side and legions of angels on their side. Will go to war, will go to bat, for somebody that don't do anything but help people and supposed to be helping people. So I heard her knocking on the door, and I was like, who door is she knocking on? She was knocking on the neighbor's door. I swear she was sounding like this. Did you see anybody? The neighbor said, woo! Them demons were going to walk, baby. They were tearing her up, my ancestors. But whatever the situation may be, you cannot steal. Let me tell you, if you don't hear anything else, I'm going to continue to tell people and say this. Everybody ain't everybody. You cannot mistreat people and think goodness and greatness going to come to you. You cannot dictate. The old saying, if I steal 300, I'm going to lose, a couple of hundred more. In this instance, God not only came back and took her mind, he took money out her pockets too. So let me tell you how I go. All right, with the demonic episode, talking to the neighbors, right? So that's in June. Beginning of August. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Like, who the hell ringing my doorbell at 3 o'clock in the morning? She was coming over here ringing my doorbell and going back in the house. I'm playing those type of games. What's really going on? So I told my son, I was like, who is that? He was like, the tax preparer. She came over here, run the doorbell, and walked back in the house. What? So I'm like, okay. Next day, she outside, 5 o'clock in the morning. I know y'all over here messing with my door. Y'all better stop my garage door. Stop messing with my garage door. What? I know it was directed towards me, but okay. The next night, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. She run the doorbell again and walked away. What the hell? So this time I called the police. This was like at 6 in the morning. I called the police. No, I didn't. Did I call the police then? No, I'm going to tell you why I called the police. She rung the doorbell. Then she walked back over to her house, got in the car, drove off. Then I heard a car coming back down the street, and I heard something say, "Err." Then my alarm, the cameras was going off like, car in garage. Car in the driveway. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. She was ringing the doorbell again. Walked off and went in the house and left her car parked in my driveway. And I haven't spoken to her since 2019. Oh, God. So we called the police. Police come. Go over there. I said, I don't know what's going on with her. But she parked her car in my driveway. She need to move because it's finna be towed. Police go over there and get her. She coming outside getting mad like I'm bothering her. I'm finna move my car. Y'all have to come over here bothering me. What? So when she get in the car, she back out the driveway. Boom. Hit the police car. Then she driving her driveway, get out and go in the house like she ain't just hit the police car. They go back over there and tell her to come out the house. She come out the house. Now, you know, when anything happens with the police, what they have to make a report, whether if it's shooting, whether if it's somebody damaged their vehicle, you have to call the GBI. Why GBI and the police department outside got the whole street locked down because Cuckoo for Cocoa Puss over there going crazy. You know, like, yeah, whatever. So they come over here. They say, do you want to trespass her? I said, yep, I want to trespass her. And I end up getting the citation notice, the incident report notice. And then she got a ticket. She received the ticket and they put the report in my mailbox and all that stuff. Okay, that was in August. All right, December. They said, remind you, they said, if you're going to make it over here, you're going to jail. Beginning of December. She back out there. I told y'all to stop messing with my garage door. But at the time, I hear somebody outside and the dude say, who are you talking to? And she said, you didn't see them people over here messing with my garage door? He was like, no. So, mind you, she goes to clubs and pick up victims is what she call them, right? So, this man get out of the car and go in the house. And she pulls out and go to the store. Then she comes back and then go in the house. I'm like, man, y'all got to do better. Y'all have to do better. Like, what is going on in this world? Y'all have to do better. Like, jeez. So, this December, right? January hits. Remember, she got the trespassing. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. She over here ringing the doorbell again. Call the police. Police get here. They like, well, we can't arrest her because the incident report isn't in the computer. I told my son, go up there and get that number that guy gave me. So I've been like, I worked through loss prevention on the Army base. I did like security. I did like management roles in security. So I know the protocols, right? They locking her up. You gonna let them do this to me, Ursula? Like, what? What? You did it to yourself. So she get locked up. She stayed in jail for 2 days. Then, lo and behold, she gets out. And she's still talking mad. I'm out now. What you got? Like, you still cannot say anything to me. You know, so that was in 2024. We ended up going to court in August of 2024, right? So we get to court. She's not there. She was 4 hours late. I was like, why y'all don't just issue a bench warrant for her? Like, we sat up there 4 hours wasting our time. And then when we left out, my son was like, she's still at the house. And we step out, look at the camera. She's still at the house. They call her. She gets there 4 hours late. She's the only one in the courtroom with a mask on, right? All right. They call her up there. So the judge asks whatever. So I wanted to speak because she has all of my personal information. And back in the day, she stated, I don't know why people be talking about the person who prepared their taxes. And I have all of their information and I can sell it and put it on a dark web. Oh, really? I listen to everything. I peep everything. So I wanted to be documented. So if that was to happen, we already know who to go to. We already know to go find you. All right. I forgot to tell you, when she had got out on bond, her bond was $25,000. 10% of that is, 10% of that is, yeah, that way. So, not only you have to pay $2,500 for, to get out, to be bonded, that you're not going to get back. Then, you have to use a bonding company. Yeah, that way. Then, on that, you have to pay for the ticket for hitting the police car. Yeah. And then when we in court, Guess where her fine was? $300. You see how karma come back? She ended up having to pay the $300 that she stole from me, plus the $2,500 and plus whatever the ticket was. She went through all of that for $300. But it just goes to show you, people ain't right in the mind, heart, soul, and spirit. You need to be careful when your intuition is like you have like the whistle bells and whatever else is going on, and people's spirit don't lay right with you. Trust and believe in yourself. You before them, because I'm telling you, people are not right these days. They spirit not right. And God be showing you, and people be dismissing, because I was one of them, guilty of that, but we don't play them type of games no longer anymore. Yeah, no. Absolutely not. But she ended up getting a year restraining order again. So it's like, even though it has ended or whatever the situation may be, but yeah, I just wanted to tell you all, just jump on here and tell you, I want to do my story time, because everybody else is always doing story time. So that's my story time. Bye.